Hello, my name is Robin Rimbaud, otherwise known as Scanner professionally, and I'm a musician, sound artist, writer, and try my best at most things and don't always succeed. I live in the East Midlands in the UK. I used to live in London until 5 years ago. And in fact, in some ways, it's never been a better time for me to live somewhere that isn't the big metropolis. 45,000 people live in the town where I now live, and it's quiet. The idea of social distancing isn't so significant because when you walk out on the streets, there isn't really anyone around at the best of times. But what I recognise is when I go to the supermarket, as I did this morning, we all keep a clear 2-metre distance. People are much more respectful of space. In a very short time, people have relearnt patterns of ways of living. The quite amusing thing for me is I read lots of stories online about people coping with working on their own, working from home. In fact, I've worked from home now for almost 30 years and have adapted to this way of life. I wake up very early. I work in the studio on admin and music and whatever it needs to be done in the day. I finish at 6 o'clock. And then in the evening, I watch a film, I read, I listen to music and sometimes take a walk if the weather's okay and there's no one around. But it's interesting to see how life has changed for so many people. You can't hear it on the camera here, but there's birdsong outside. The windows are closed. But I learned recently that birds are changing their way of reacting to the situation. Their response normally is to sing to another bird. At the moment, the birds are very noisy. Everybody's been picking up on this, I think. In fact, they're very, very happy, they seem to be. Previously, they had to compete with a threshold of the city above them, cars passing by, industry, building work, whatever it may be. Today, of course, it's very quiet. It's like a permanent Sunday. And they can hear each other. It's quite remarkable. So in some way, we are returning to a time that we could never hear. And I find that very interesting as somebody who works with sound, that our environment has changed to a point where we are hearing a world around us as we've never heard it. And maybe we never will again, because things will change and things will come back into shape again. I try and remain positive. I'm an optimist and I believe in ultimate good between people. Kind acts continue, thankfully. And I encourage people as best as possible to try and stay at home and not visit other people. Unfortunately, not everybody obeys this and things will continue for a time. But a pattern, a way of life is changing. For myself, I haven't really changed that much in a sense. My work continues in the studio. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I haven't travelled nearly as much as I ordinarily would, because deadlines have basically disappeared for the time being, and obviously no income, which is a little bit dispiriting, I've been able to focus on my own work. I finished 2 albums completely of new work. I scored an animation by a new Slovenian artist. And I'm about to embark on a massively ambitious project with an Israeli artist, which is a huge VR interactive experience, which is meant to be heard at the end of this year, but it could be next year at this rate. So at the moment, I'm trying not to be too concerned about deadlines or anything like that. Trying to embrace the time I have and remain positive, and I hope that everybody else does too. So when things return to some sense of normality, I hope to return to Vienna. I carry very fond memories of when I was there on a residency many years ago, and just wish everybody well, to take care and be good to each other. Thanks. Bye.